I turned 18 and my parents immediately changed all the locks on our house. I came home from my birthday dinner with friends to find my key didn't work. I stood on the porch for 10 minutes trying different angles, thinking the lock was jammed. Then my mom opened the door with a chain across it and said through the gap, "You can't come in anymore. Your father and I have discussed it. You're an adult now." I laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She handed me a garbage bag through the crack containing some of my clothes, my phone charger, and my birth certificate. I asked her what was happening, and she said, "We've done our legal obligation, 18 years. You need to figure out the rest on your own." Then she closed the door. I heard the deadbolt click. I stood there in the dark holding a garbage bag on my own front porch, wearing the same shirt I'd blown out candles in 2 hours earlier. I slept in my car that night. The next morning, I drove to my grandfather's house because I had nowhere else to go. When I told him what happened, he didn't seem surprised. He made me coffee and sat me down at his kitchen table and said, "I was wondering when they'd finally do it." I asked him what he meant. He told me my parents had been planning this since I was born. They'd had me young, he said. Too young. My mom was 19 when she got pregnant, and my dad was 20. They weren't ready. They resented every sacrifice they had to make for me. He said they used to talk about the day I'd turn 18 like other parents talk about retirement. They had calendars counting down. They told family members they'd done the math and figured out the exact amount they were legally required to spend on me. Nothing more. I didn't believe him at first. I thought back through my childhood looking for signs I'd missed. Then I started remembering things. How I never had birthday parties because my parents said they were a waste of money. How I wore my cousin's hand-me-downs until 8th grade while my dad bought himself a new truck every 3 years. How they never came to a single football game, not one, and told me extracurriculars were my problem to figure out. I remembered asking to join travel baseball when I was 10, and my mom laughing and saying, "That's not in the budget we allocated for you." Budget allocated. Like I was a line item, not a son. I remembered overhearing them once when I was 12. My dad said, "6 more years and we're free." I thought he was talking about paying off the mortgage. He wasn't. He was talking about me. My grandfather showed me something that made my stomach drop. It was a spreadsheet my dad had emailed to family members years ago. He'd calculated exactly how much they'd spent on me since birth. Food, clothing, school supplies, medical care, all itemized with receipts. The total at the bottom was $89,412. Below it was a note that said, "This is our legal obligation fulfilled. Not a penny more after 18. My grandfather had printed it out because he couldn't believe his own son had written it. I stared at the numbers. 18 years of my life reduced to an invoice. I wasn't their son. I was a debt they were paying off. And the second the bill was settled, they were done with me. I tried calling them for weeks. My dad answered once and said, "We gave you everything the law required. What more do you want?" I said I wanted to know why they had me if they never wanted me. He got quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Your mom was going to terminate, but your grandfather begged her not to. He promised he'd help, but he didn't help enough, so we did our time, like I was a prison sentence." I hung up and sat in my car for an hour staring at nothing. My grandfather found me and told me he was sorry. He said he'd tried to give them money over the years to make things easier, but they always spent it on themselves and told him it was for me. He showed me receipts for checks he'd written, thousands of dollars that never went toward my clothes or my food or anything I ever saw. My grandfather rewrote his will that month. Everything goes to me now.